Hey, thank you for the subscribing, Mr. Damien Rice. Yeah, Ronnie has been pretty good, yes. Ah, Ronnie knows black, yes. Okay, yeah, Ronnie missed the win, yeah. Yeah, it's been his year. He's been doing really well this year, I agree. Alright guys, so let's do the Classical Chess Simul. There is the last round games playing right now, but we're not gonna take a look at them. Let me set up the Simul first, then I can take a look. Do you have Classical Simul? Ah, we had we had Fisher Simul on Sunday, but Sunday was a crash, so it was on Monday, yeah? So, but okay, Wednesdays are for the Simul, for Classical Chess Simul. Classical Chess Simul for my Twitch subscribers. I'm playing random colors. 60 minutes. You guys get only 15 seconds. Okay, you get no, that's host. You get 15 seconds only. So 60. I don't need extra time. No restrictions, no restrictions. Estimated start time in 10 minutes. So let's put it at 22:00. Okay, Classical Chess Simul, my Twitch subscribers. I'll put my channel here. Okay, host the Simul. Standard, yeah. All right. Let me put the link to the Simul into the chat, so you guys know. Yeah, okay. Yeah, got it. Thanks. Yeah, Gukish was playing white. I thought for some reason Aronian was white, but Gukish was white, and it's kind of incredible that Aronian didn't miss the win actually. Yeah, because if he won this game, he would actually tie for the first place. Yeah, that would be fully deserved. All right. All right. Let's see if Andromeda comes today. Simon Lee Chess, thank you, Ladies Radio. All right, thank you very much. Robert Oppenheimer. Okay, good. There are some veterans that usually play in the Simul, so we're gonna wait for them a little bit, okay? So while we wait, let's take a look at the what's going on here. Yeah. Yes, I saw the short draws. Okay, they don't have anything to play for, so that's why they're making short draws. Caruana has something to prove. Aronian made a quick draw with Prague, which was kind of surprising because if one of them wins, they actually have a chance for the whole thing. Wesley and Abdusatorov, they just fight it out, yeah. And Alireza and Sivian, they again have nothing to play for, so they made a draw. Alright, so let's go to the most interesting game. And of course, Fabiano plays his favorite Italian. He has been playing it for decades. His favorite weapon of choice, which he analyzed well. So he plays something very simple, knight b3, bishop d2. So he wants just to play a game, yeah. So if you noticed, he probably noticed that in this game of Gukish versus Aronian, Gukish misplayed his endgame. Yeah, and I mean, look at this. Okay, b5 is logical, but let's see. It's actually not bad. Rook c1, simple idea. Rook wants to go here. 97 looks correct. C4, take. D5 is actually not quite correct, but the reason it's not correct is black now has 3 pawn islands. Yeah, I mean white also, but these pawns are especially weak. Kinda. So rook e1 here. G3. Same idea. White wants to push the king away from this pin, but the engine suggests king f1. Yeah, the same reason. But G3 is kind of very human. I don't understand this a5 move. Well, okay, I understand that this pawn takes away the square from the bishop, so you can put the rook here and hit the pawn. Yeah, which is why you need still to move the king, so there is no check and discovery attack. Yeah. So a5 is interesting, but first you prepare it. Either king f1 a5, yeah, or a5 and then something. So g3 f6. Black needs to protect this pawn, so this knight can free to move. King g2, okay. Rook d8 is logical, eyeing this pawn. And now knight a5 or d4. Knight a5 was also playable. Of course, if you can put the knight here, then obviously white has advantage, but you allow c5, yeah? So that was the problem. Knight here, knight here. If you try to play like this, then there is this move. Yeah, you lose the pawn. So, but if you take the same idea, if knight c5, you can play rook c1 and do the pinning. But black has this first, and then you can't protect both pawns. And this knight is very strong, yeah? So black is okay. Yeah. So this move, and what about that a5? I think it doesn't make so much sense because knight can go to b8 and just push this rook away, yeah? Also, what about this move? It's simply rook d6. Just protects it. Alright, so d4, getting rid of weakness, why not? Now knight is ready to go to c6, and black has given up his bishop with knight takes knight e5, makes sense. Knight f8. And white is still a tiny bit better, but yes, still a tiny bit better, but this knight is very strong here. Knight can go to b6. Still a little bit better for white because passive, still weak. Knight can go to c6, rook can go to c6. Bishop is always very strong in the endgame. So, still kind of advantage for white. Alright. No problem. So, what's the other game that is played? Is this game. And what are they doing? Another Italian, yes. Okay, but d4, finally, thank God. Finally, we have some sort of a chess game. That is not Italian. Knight b8. Yes, guys, this is very strong and like the only move that black has to equalize. Other moves are not so good. This is, you need to know this, okay? Knight b8 is super strong. Not sure about this. I'm not a big fan of moves like this. Make sure to cement this pawn on c5, because if this pawn moves to c4, it pretty much guarantees black that it undoubles him, because pawn is very strong here. So you stop here, makes sense, yeah. d4, but now this is really weak, yeah. So it looks like an advantage white. g4, you cannot capture central pawn because of the knight g6 check. So we must play like this, and white chickens out. Yeah? He can play g5, but it's a little bit scary. It's a little bit scary. The point of g5 is you're threatening g6. like a rook f5, g6 here, then there's potentially this sack coming. For this, and f4 or knight g3. Yeah. Again, you cannot capture this pawn, you lose the rook, but you have no choice, the rook has nowhere to go. So f4 or queen g2 first. And this is kind of highly unbalanced position, okay? So that's why the engine suggests taking here, double attack. So hitting the pawn, you cannot spend time, queen goes to d8, so you can move the queen here, but then trade. This is kind of weak. I really like this a4 with the idea of rook a3. The rook here will protect the king, will eye the pawn. Okay, so it'll be very strong rook. Yeah, rook a3 is very strong. So this looks better for white. The only question is it winning, yeah? I don't know, so he just decides to play more solid chess. Stops knight b4, white wants to capture the bishop to keep this knight here. And now f4, the knight is very strong blockading piece. We all know that since Nimzovich teachings. Alright, centralized queen. Again, white is better, but how do you win this? Yeah, because the only way to win this is to make a breakthrough here. So you see the g5, h4, h5, and the question is then what? Yeah, or you go f5, which is exactly what black prepares for. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So. Yeah. So the cost of the relocating the knight on b2, white, and the cost of the pawn structure, white obtained extra pawn. Bishop d8. Okay, so he wants to play a3, undouble the pawns, then rook a1 and keep this pawn, yeah, or something. So black is just standing. I'll be extremely curious if this king can come here, but I really doubt it. I really don't like the king movement. I mean, king can move, but h4 was very interesting actually, yes, because you can play g5. Yeah, that's he missed that. H4 is actually very important because now you can then play rook h3 and go h5 and finally do the break. Yeah, so that looks pretty good. Yeah, that was actually a kind of mistake. Yeah. All right, let's see. Pavel is here. Yeah. So who else we're missing? All right, let's wait another 4 minutes. Maybe Andromeda and Texas Speed will come, and some others. Right now we have 4 people. Yeah. Yeah, the simul could be. I need to fix the dates for the classical simul because I think last week it was either Thursday or Wednesday. Yeah, and this week is Wednesday, so I'll have to like really set it in stone which day I'm gonna do the classical simul. I mean, Sunday is set in stone for the Fischer chess, but Wednesdays and Thursdays are not set. So. Yeah, the problem was also that, you know, we had this Fischer chess move to Monday. A lot of people probably think that, you know, Wednesday is too early for the simul, so maybe I should have done it tomorrow, but okay. Just used to doing it on Wednesdays and Sundays. All right, but okay, let's wait and then we'll see. Can't wait another 4 minutes, 3 minutes, and then we start. Let me grab an apple quick. Okay. By the way, there was actually another game that I wanted to check. Apparently, two youngsters played today in this event. Jacobson was also playing, and Martinez is playing. Yeah, it's one of the very rare tournaments where this legendary Jospin guy, he plays classical chess, yeah? Very rare tournament. Finally, he starts to play chess. Classical. Okay. So, Mendonca is another youngster. He lost to Sadvani, former prodigy from India. Andrei is playing. Okay, Donchenko. Actually, Vasily Ivanchuk is playing. Very interesting. But where are the other moves? Also, this guy from Iran, he was like killing everybody on chess.com. But you know, his classical chess games are like several levels lower than his blitz play. So, they only have 21 boards, huh? Because I do know there was this kid, Oro, or some other guy who was playing this Kazakh guy. I'm trying to find it. It's probably not here, yeah. They're probably not playing on the top boards. But I want to see this game. Why doesn't it show? Because I have Simul on or something. No. Knight is 76, okay. Yes, this is a very solid setup for black. Trades the bishop, and the bishop moves back, and black is actually better, yeah. But this is apparently inaccuracy. What is the correct way to play? Just put the knight on the center and open the bishop. Okay, that kind of makes sense. But obviously, this is the correct line. You need to stop the bishop, yeah. And it goes back to f6 and b6. So I'm pretty sure both players saw this. But rook a5 is an incredibly difficult move to find. This move is really a problem. And so is this, yeah? This is the only move that equalizes for black. And now it's super sharp because the bishops are getting opened. Damn, this is not simple, by the way. Alright, so b6 now, okay, take, and put the center. e4 is kind of preferable because this knight is bad. It's not bad, but he is not the greatest knight in the world, and you restrict him, okay? So that's why it was probably a better idea to do this. And e4, but now black can play knight e8 and the rook is out. What's the difference? I don't know what's the difference. If you play this immediately and black can still play rook fc8, yeah? I would say that this rook can go to d1 instead and try to get d4 in. So this, knight e8, and then queen e2 removes the queen from the pressure and also creating here. So yeah, so this is like where you really analyze your games like this. Alright, let's see. d5, now black is fine. Take, of course. Oh, he went this way, wow. And black just starts rolling his pawns, yeah, f5. So black sacrificed a piece for two central pawns, but look at these bishops, yeah. Queen is completely trapped. 96. Remove the queen from the pin. Not the most correct move, but black now has 3 pawns, and these pawns are just lock out white's bishop, so white doesn't have an extra piece anyway. h5 stops any g4 breaks, and the pawn moves because if you take it, then there is mate, and white is white is lost because bishop is coming here, yeah. Bishop c2 and pawn goes to b3. Alright, very solid performance by Vasil. Alright, let's go to the Simul and let's start. Okay, I'm gonna play this anyway. Alright, you're the new guy, so let's play this. A3, my god. Oof. You know what, I'm gonna play this. Wait, where's the sound? My sound system is broken. It doesn't just do anything. Ah, there you go. But here it doesn't register, yeah? Huh. Yeah, bishop e2, yes, that's the famous move order. Famous move order. Can play bishop c4. Okay, thank you. And there is this idea, which I analyzed with my wife like 6 years ago, and it's not a bad idea. The idea is just to play f4, knight f3 here or something. The main idea of bishop g5 was to stop e6, knight e7, and d5 in one move. Normally black plays d6, e6, and then d5. The idea of this system for black is to play e6, knight e7, d5 in one move. So bishop g5 stops that. Pavel, I recall we played quite a few games on this line, yes? I think so. Quite a few games. What question? Hey guys, you kinda late just by about like 3 minutes. Sorry about that. Monty's in the house, okay, good. Hey Gypsy, what's up? If you could play one game from your career over again, which would it be? What do you mean over? Replay the game? Well, you remember that game that I had nightmares about, yeah? The Topalov game. That's the best candidate, I would say. Best candidate for that. But okay, queen c7 is shimmying and move. So let's play that. Knight c6 is also looks logical. h6 is not good. The reason it's not good because now you can actually take this pawn and you don't have e5, okay? And you do know how I love free pawns. Yeah, that's the reason for queen c7. So when he plays here, I can play bishop b7 and my bishop is protected. So that e5 does not kill me immediately. Alright, castles. Now you see the usefulness of this pawn on f4 together with this bishop is white is ready to play the f5 or e5 at a moment's notice. And the bishop here is very powerful actually. Okay. So I would say white has already an advantage here in this position. Bishop b7 I think is incorrect. I don't know guys if you remember this, but this line was the line that Anish Giri played against me on Lee Chess some time ago. And I mated him like in 20 moves. Like really set up this huge mating attack, and he resigned like on move 22, 23. Why cannot take this? Bishop f4, queen c5, bishop f3. And what is that? Okay, there are some famous tricks here, yeah? I don't remember. So maybe some famous tricks. Queen e5, bishop f4, queen c5, bishop f3. That's what I missed, yeah. Rook e7, bishop e8, rook d7, knight e2, e5, b4 probably, queen e7, rook e1. What? Bishop was on b8, yeah, so rook d7, knight e2, e5, b4, queen e7. Yeah, you can play rook e1. If knight f5, rook d1, knight e7, rook a1, rook a1, king e7, bishop e5. Even then you have an advantage, you have pair of bishops. Yeah, that's the reason why they don't play it. Yeah, that's why black normally castles first instead of b5. Okay. So the big question, can I survive this? So I cannot take on e5, yeah. So let's play that. Keep the bishop on f4 or play something. Yeah, bishop a5 is probably okay. Queen b6, okay, move the king. e5. Okay, and if I centralize the knight. Hey, Chess Lover, sorry man, you're a little bit late. Queen's Gambit accepted. I actually played it. It's a specialty of my friend and teammate, Grandmaster Namik Guliyev. He played it all his life. So, you know, when I look at the way he plays, it's extremely solid, looks very good for black. But when I start to analyze it, it starts to look incredibly weird and difficult to understand. Yeah, I mean, it is playable, but you kind of need to develop the feel for those slightly passive positions. Could be incredibly frustrating. Yeah. Ah, you weren't playing anyway? Okay. By the way, gentlemen, I was brainstorming how to get more coin out of you, or how to get more subscribers, and then I remembered I was watching some grandmasters do the sub nights with their where they play the subscribers in blitz games or something. So then becomes the big question: what do you guys think of that format? Anybody will be interested to have this blitz sub night where I play you guys blitz games, and then I kind of go quickly over the game. I mean, I see a bunch of grandmasters do this on their streams, so I don't know. Curious. Yeah, I understand. Some people Simul is way too long, yeah. So you prefer to play some blitz games. Yeah, so I'm thinking maybe we can do that. Maybe we can do that. It also could be quite okay for those of you who are actually struggling with time issues, time management, yeah. 97, okay, so let's play the same way. That goes here. And all I have to do is finish the developments, and then I think it should be okay. More or less. More or less. A5, oh my god. Alright, so is it E5 or F5 time, yeah? I guess it's F5 time. But E5 is also sometimes good, but if I play E5 then you kind of bishops come out, but I do get 95, and so E5 should be also quite okay. Need to calculate the E5, take, knight G4, knight D5, queen D8. Can also play E6 by the way, yeah. Also could be very strong. 95, queen D8, rook E1, H6. I can play queen F4, take. The attack looks pretty scary, but I think F5 is, intuitively to me, F5 is probably the strongest move. Because I just go after the king and open the rook, yeah. So let's do F5. Intuitively, that seems to be a stronger move. You heard title Tuesday Gaming overhaul? Yes, I got an email where they explained that it's not going to be 2 tournaments anymore. It's going to be only 1 tournament, and it's going to be 5-0 instead of 3-1. So because 1 second is pretty much nothing, 5 minutes is actually more time, which is actually a good idea, I think, for older guys like me. But I'm not gonna play it anyway, so I don't know why they bothered. And Proctor is the anti-cheating program is like mandatory now. By the way, if I hit this bishop, where does it go? Bishop f3, bishop b7, why is it bad? Ivo, you know what, I was kind of worried about rook f7 and 96, yeah? But I thought that maybe probably is nothing. It probably should be nothing. Yeah, b4. Now I can just take this thing, yeah? This is pretty famous famous trick. Thoughts on Proctor? I haven't used it, I have no idea. I haven't played on Chess.com since last year's December, since the end of last year. They rolled it out, I heard, selectively to some people, but not to everybody. So not everybody was, it wasn't the beta testing or something. I'm pretty happy with my position. I don't know what the problem is, just castle, yeah. Finish development, extra pawn, knights hopping all over the place. I'm very happy with my position. Alright, I have a feeling I'm blundering something. Yes, queen g4 is logical. Yes, what was, oh my god, that was what I was blundering, yeah. Alright, is it really a blunder though? So if I castle, he plays bishop h6. That's obviously a problem. If I play this, can he kill me? That is a big question. g6, okay. If I play this first, that actually becomes very tactical, yeah? Yeah, but the rook is unprotected, so I can play this. Probably should take this thing, and you guys obviously know that this move is coming, yeah? All we need is the rook to join the attack, and white should be close to winning this position. Yes, but then I can take this, yeah? It's kind of surprise tactics, but I think it works. 95 is not good, because there is this additional threat that I have, yeah? Which he missed. I can just take that pawn. You guys playing so fast, you have like 1 hour. Where are you rushing? Think. No, Proctor is a program. It's the software. I gave them that idea a long time ago, and they kind of went along with it. The idea came from the League of Legends, you know, this and those shooters, yeah. The Riot, they have this Vanguard or something. It's the same thing. Anti-cheating software. So, you had 50 minutes and you didn't think, okay? This is not blitz. So thanks to this bishop. Why are you guys playing so fast? My god. Rook f7 is standard, Pavel. Come on, you know that, yeah? Rook f7 is standard in such positions. But they don't always work out, so... But you always have to look at it. Rook f7, bishop f7 and the dragon, yeah, remember that? There was this famous line where bishop f7, king f7, knight e6, traps the queen on d8, and if king e6, queen d5 mate, yeah? It's like... Fischer caught quite a few opponents that way in his day. So that was always nice. In the Grunfeld too, the line was okay. Don't need rook f6. Rook f6 is like also winning, of course. Guys are playing so fast, man. What's the rush? The idea of the simul is you think and try to play quality game, something like you play over the board in a standard setting. Okay, I gave you so much time, so you can think, enjoy your time, you know, get some coffee, tea, etc. Okay, but you're the new guys, yeah? So, alright, for next time, use your time to think, please. Playing blitz is defeats the purpose of the simul. Knight to e6. Yeah, okay, but I wanted to play this anyway. I needed to stop this potential a5 thing. So I want to do this. And now we have this interesting position. I wonder what the evaluation of this is. Probably... I think black should be okay, but it all depends if I can get these things out, yeah? If I can get them out like in the next couple of moves, then I should be fine. Like here, knight h6, then castles, and then f6. I know that sound, thanks for the follows. Yeah. What do you mean sorry? You're the one who is playing the game, man. For me, faster games is better, but the point of the simul is to give you a chance to play a slower game against the Grandmaster, yeah? Like, how many times have you played Grandmaster's OTB? Unless you pay some appearance fee, unless you pay some entry fee in some open tournament, and even then, how many Grandmasters you play there? Maybe like one Grandmaster for the whole tournament, yeah? Here you have the chance to play the Grandmaster. It's slow game, think. And it's your choice. You can play blitz and make it really short and like don't learn much, or you can play slow and try your best, try to think and learn. Well, I think the Dutch defense for black is perfectly playable. I played it. I kind of... You know, Malanyuk was the champion of the Dutch defense in the 80s and 90s, and after him, nobody much played it. So I kind of took it over in this century. I started playing it, and with really good score. I don't know if there is statistics you can get. If you can get statistics of the Dutch defense, and you can get statistics on my games in the Dutch defense, I would say that my statistics is pretty damn good. And I played a lot of strong players on that. I got a lot of important victories in against even grandmasters, so it's a decent opening. It's also very sharp. The draw result in the Dutch is extremely rare. There are no forced draws. Okay, that's one huge advantage of the Dutch, is there are no forced draws, and if white misplays, black can take over. Simple as that. Which is why I like to play Dutch against guys like Lazavic, which I played against him like several times, and I outplayed him like so many games, and then because I was low on time, I was either blundering or it's a draw. I remember I had like so many winning positions against him. The guy just couldn't understand the Dutch defense. It's very anti-strategic, okay? It's perfect against people who play solid chess, okay? Because it's just, you know, some reason it works. I don't know why. Because they're trying to refute it, and they cannot, because it's a pretty viable opening still. But they try hard, and they, you know, they over push and end up like in worse position. So it's kind of funny, yeah. Can you do another simul after this? Nope. You'll have to wait until the Sunday Future Chess Simul. I have 2 simuls a week. On Sundays we have Future Chess Simul, and I have one on Wednesdays or Thursdays. Last week we had it on Thursday, but this week I decided to do on Wednesday. But okay, if you guys really want, I can try to do it tomorrow. Okay, just because I know quite a few of you missed it today. So if you want, I can try to do it tomorrow, but it will be an exceptional case. Okay. I mean, I'm not 20-year-old, I don't have a lot of energy, okay? But because it's an exceptional case, yeah, I can do an exception for you. All right? Yeah, Nate Chance actually plays a lot of openings that I play. We got a very similar opening repertoire. He also plays Sicilian Khan, and he plays Dutch, yeah. And he actually saw me play a lot of Dutch games, so it was kind of funny. I think I kind of influenced him a little bit. And then we played each other Khan. I think I played once with white, and then I think I played once with black. Yeah, so it's kind of very interesting when we play each other, because we love those openings very much, and yeah, but he is good. Yeah, he analyzes them really well. He writes books, etc., etc. So the guy is pretty good. Yeah, I can attest to that. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he is a good guy. Yeah. He has been commentating the Bill tournaments where I played, where I had some fantastic games in the Dutch defense. Yeah, I remember. There was one game which is like one of my brilliances. I played it against, I think it played in the first round of the Rapid tournament. If you can find that game, I think I showed it to you. Yeah. He sacrificed the piece to get a bunch of central pawns, and then I counter-sacrificed the piece for nothing. But his central pawn had to move to capture my piece, and his pawns became tripled. They were extra, but they were tripled, and his entire position was disgusting. So he couldn't play normally after that. His pawn structure was so disgusting, you know. It's like literally very difficult to play chess if you have a disgusting pawn structure. I don't know. It's something psychological, I guess. Yeah. It's like when like you haven't taken a bath, you haven't washed your hair, you haven't brushed your teeth, and you go outside to a party. Yeah. So it's probably the same feeling. It kind of like a feeling like I stink. Okay. So that's the same feeling for the chess players and their pawn structures. Okay. I mean, chess game is kind of a party. Okay. If you think about it, you go to a party with knights, bishops, pawns, and you're uninvited. Yeah. So you go to their party, so you better behave. Okay. Now you know why not invited to the parties, right? Depends, yeah? Chess parties, yeah? Okay. Alrighty, so yeah, so this knight h6 is actually probably not the best move. I think bishop h6 would be extremely interesting, or bishop g7, yeah? But I'm trying to rush this knight here so I can, you know, block this pawn, and also this knight, if he gets here, he can support this guy in case white plays here and removes this knight, yeah? I mean, if he plays it here, then I have this move, because I don't want to allow this bishop here. So it's very likely this knight will go here, and I'll capture the bishop, so he has to think. Right? If he has bishop here and he plays knight g5, then I don't have this. He captures. And then bishop f3, and white is better. But that's why I played it, because I think I'm just in time to stop this idea. This idea, okay? The idea was a bishop f3. I think it's a critical idea. If I can consolidate knight f5, bishop g7, castle, black is just strategically winning because pawns are very weak. Alright, but let's look at Pavel's game, what's going on. Whoa, he's thinking still. Yeah, this is like incredibly sharp position, and there are many possibilities to make a mistake for both of us, obviously. There are a lot of possibilities to make a mistake. Yeah, I think that's correct. So I don't have a choice. I grab. Now this is kind of unpleasant. But exactly how unpleasant is this? Yeah? Exactly how is this unpleasant? Yeah, on the other hand, knight d5 is kind of really ugly threat. Really ugly threat. So probably white is winning, yeah? Probably white is winning then. Yeah, I don't have any other explanation for that. Yeah, it looks like white is winning. Yeah, knight d5 is super strong, yeah. I thought I have rook f8, but no. Rook f8, knight d5, knight c6. And then even knight f6, take f6, and you recapture this thing. Yeah. Yeah, so this is a problem. Can I set up some fierce resistance? Vive la resistance! We can try, yeah. We can try to set up this resistance. But with my entire flank underdeveloped, how can I do that? That doesn't seem possible. Yeah. Alright, I have an idea. So probably I have to push this queen out, yeah? I don't see any other choice, actually. I don't see any other choice. Maybe there is one, but I don't see it. So let's play it. Let us pray it and play it and pray it. Yeah. And replay it. Yes, looks pretty bad. Yeah, I'm completely unhappy with my position. Completely unhappy. But okay, I'm grateful that I'm not getting killed immediately. Is this last game? Nope. This game is still in progress, but he is tanking. Mud wrestling. Alright, so as I said, yeah, this knight has to go here. I can't allow bishop f3 because if his queen arrives on this diagonal, I'm pretty much dead. Yeah, too many weaknesses. Yeah. I mean, of course, I could take and play bishop g7 and bishop f3 and castle. That might be playable too, actually, but then knight d5, he hits everything. It's kind of still unpleasant. But maybe playable. But I think knight d4 is the correct way to play this. If I can grab this bishop and keep my bishop alive, that should be okay. So, questions. There are questions now. Can I survive or not? This doomsday. It's a doomsday. Bada bing, bada boom. I actually have some resources, even without the knight and even with the knight on b8 and rook on a8. Yeah. I'm actually surprised I have these resources. Still bad. Still bad position. But again, at least not lost immediately. Yeah. At least I'm not losing immediately. Pavel smells the blood, goes in for the kill. Is the 4 knights invitation to withdraw at the GM level? Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much. Is this honey?
No, honey is in this jar.
Honey is in the jar? This honey?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Alright, so honey is for energy. F4. Okay. But if I take, then what? Yeah, 95 is, so I have to play this. Yeah, but if you play like this, then you know I have this check, yes? Yes, I can develop automatically, but chess is a very concrete game. Maybe I can take this thing, who knows? May I? Or may I not? Let's test the theory. I don't see how I lose my queen there. I don't see how I lose my queen. I see some unpleasant moves, but I still don't see how I lose my queen. Yes, let's take. It looks like a bad experiment on my parts, but okay. Just supposed to be a fun game, so let's have some fun. I mean, this bishop is a killer bishop. Killer bishop from outer space. They make some amazing honey in southern Pennsylvania. The Dutch farmers near where you live produce. Ah, okay. The bishop wanted to be on b2. You thought maybe better to give the rook. But with the bishop on b2, I mean, okay, you play e6, I play f6, right? And what does that bishop do? Doesn't do much. I thought bishop e3 is more dangerous, to be honest, because takes away the square and keeps the c and b file open for the rooks to chase my queen. But if you have bishop on b2, then you don't have this chasing thing. But with the bishop on b2, yes, you have some ideas, yeah. I don't want to name them here because I don't want to give my opponent ideas. I want the opponent to come up with these ideas himself, yeah. I mean, there are some ideas for sure. Yeah, ideas is critical. That's what chess is great. That's why chess is great, because you generate your own ideas. There is no one game which is not arranged to a theoretical draw that is exactly the same, yeah. Like very few games, you know, people play identical moves. It's kind of amazing to me, actually, you know. For 200-300 years of chess history, if people really played the game on their own and made their own moves, how many identical games would we have? If you think about it, yeah? It should be like many, yeah? But not to my experience. I've rarely played exactly the same game ever in my life. There was always some variation. Now my mind goes off the tangents, so I'll stop that thought. Knight of 8 playable instead of Queen c6? You mean in the Pavel's game? The problem with Knight of 8 is that he gives a check. He gives a check, and then there is second check. And if I close with the knight, he pushes the pawn and recaptures the knight, and he has extra pawn, attack, and winning position, okay? So Knight of 8 is not a good move. The only other move I could consider was to play this move, because you need to trade the attacking potential. The problem was Knight d5. I have Knight c6 and Knight f6 check, okay? Because then I must take, and he recaptures the bishop, and he keeps extra pawn and a good position. So I thought Queen c6, I thought this line is the only fighting line that I can play, which is maybe okay for me. e6, very interesting. And I'm curious if Pavel calculated this move. I'm sure he did. But I'm curious how far he had calculated it. Let's see. Yeah, it's losing, yeah. He's losing. Yeah, queen d5 is 7 check, obviously, yeah? So that is the problem. Yeah, that's still lost. Yeah, I cannot play that, yeah. Too bad. Too bad. Man, my pieces suck. Literally. Yeah, I was calculating rook e8, but it's probably second line, yeah. But doesn't quite work. Hmm. Yeah, I'm still lost. Okay. That's what I get for not thinking in the opening. That's what I get for not thinking in the opening. Ah, wait, okay, no, but not ah. There is no ah. There is no ah. Wait, this move? Why? Yeah, you can pretty much play this too, yeah. Damn, so many moves. Okay, so if I take, I play this. is actually correct. Yeah. It's correct. Yeah. That's Sicilian for you. If you don't play it correctly, you can get it into a miniature. 23 moves, I'm dead lost. Not bad. Now I'm wondering, maybe instead of taking the knight, I should have taken the pawn on e5, yeah. Taking the pawn on e5. It still looks pretty bad. Queen d4, knight d7, knight g7, check, king f8, bishop h6, and knight d5. It still looks pretty bad. So that b5 was way too early. Man. It's way too early. I'll have to check. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. All right. See you guys. Probably tomorrow. I'll do another simul, I guess. But then will be only one simul, two simuls only. Rook e1 I thought was incorrect. I mean, it's playable for sure. But I think rook e1 was not the best move. All right, I'll show Pavel after the game what I saw was a clear win for him. He's still got an advantage, obviously. Just maybe not the winning advantage. For sure, it's a big advantage still. Can I avoid this fate? Unclear. Unclaro. Yeah, you have to play that. I have to play this. Yeah. So the big question is, what is this position? What is this position? What seems to be the problem, officer? Yes. You should call. You should put it like a chess police. Yeah. There was a murder of the chess pawn. We're investigating this murder. The Usual Suspects list. Can you imagine? Remember the movie, The Usual Suspects, and they had this picture in the identification row? Can you imagine chess pieces being put there in the same clothing? That'll be pretty cool, actually. I would love to see that picture. The Usual Suspects, the knight, like smoking, the hat, yeah. The bishop, like, the rook, the queen, and finally the king himself, yeah. The king. Yeah. That would be actually a pretty wonderful picture. I would love to see a picture based on that chess. Something like that. I'll ask my wife to try to draw it. She's still a student, but she's got some skills already. But still, this kind of needs a finesse. So if you can draw this picture. From the movie The Usual Suspects.
I didn't know.
Alright, let me try to search for it, okay? Give me a second. The Usual Suspects movie promo picture. There, this one.
I didn't watch it,
You see it?
Yes, I see it.
Yeah. No, but it's cool. Yeah, can you imagine? You're gonna have chess pieces in those poses, yeah?
Yeah, sure.
And like, so let's actually discuss which of these actors should be which piece. The picture quality is kind of bad. Yeah, this guy at the end, yeah, we all know who this guy is, of course. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. All right, 1995, yeah. But I think wasn't that the movie that launched Kevin Spacey's career, which got destroyed later, like 20 years later? Yeah, no, 30 years later. No, actually 20. Okay. Yeah, he was the dude was a great actor. Unfortunately, acting it's a difficult profession. Hmm. All right. Yeah. So guys, where did White miss his win? Clear win. You can tell me the lines now, because there is no way he can do it. I mean, he can still win the game, but he cannot go back to those lines. So this is the position where White missed the win. Yeah. So what was the win? What was the win? It's pretty simple, actually. Well, Queen f6, check, but now I move the king to c7 and knight actually attacking the queen because knight is no longer pinned. Okay. And if you take the knight, my rook blocks the pawn. And then, yes, you can play rook f3 or rook d3, but I think black has a fighting chance here. But there is easier way to do this. Well, if you take on h8, then I take the pawn, yes, and then I still have two knights. You take on h7, two knights versus rook and two pawns. So it's still, I mean, it's advantage white, but it's not like immediate win. There is an immediate win here. Hmm. Anybody else would like to voice an opinion on the matter in question? Queen f6 is the correct idea. Exactly. Yes, Mr. Cheslav, that's the correct sequence. The only problem is you have to understand what to do if black plays queen e7, okay? So you take the knight, queen e7, and that's what I was counting on when I was going from far. But there is a refutation, yeah? What is the refutation after queen e7? Okay. you know, I can actually play this ridiculous move. Yes, and then I play this. When I need a tempo for this, I think. So this is very tempo game. Yes, I mean, white is still much better here, of course. Of course. But is he winning? Yeah, I think I need to play this move. Then tempo. Another tempo. Black is obviously okay, yeah. Yes, I know. See? You thought 1 hour is a lot, yeah? But nope. It's not a lot, especially when you have so many things to think about. So after queen e7, you take on e7, then intermediate d8 check, rook takes d8, and then rook e1 check. My king must move, and then rook takes rook, and white ends up with the extra exchange and a pawn. Okay? Yeah. Granted, there are so many lines there, yeah? So everything looks very attractive. Actually, let's take queen d5, okay. And he does this queen d6. Still a problem, yeah? Still a problem. There's still a problem. Yeah, so maybe queen g4 was not the best. Maybe it was not the best move. Now I know. Now I know. Yeah, the king still has to go somewhere, yeah. Yeah, I didn't see queen d5. I mean, it's natural, but I didn't see it. Rook b7 actually was my first choice, but for some reason I decided against it. But it was such an obvious move, yeah. Now I have problems. I have problems. There was no way for you to trap the queen now, which is why, you know, your blunder was not correct, I would say. There is no way, no. That's why I went there, yeah, because if I thought that you could find, if you could trap my queen, then I would probably not have played it. But I thought that there is no way for you to trap my queen. So, you know, I'm still calculating stuff. Maybe I'm not calculating well enough, but I still look like, you know, 3 moves ahead is 3 moves ahead calculation is doable on my part. All right. So what you should do now, you should analyze the game, okay? You should analyze the game. That's what you should do. I fear that I am somehow losing this immediately, but I don't see it. If I don't see how I'm losing immediately, then I will still play it. Ah, okay, I have this move. Okay, for some reason I forgot it. For some reason I forgot about this move. It's actually playable. Playable. Chessable, playable, blubble. Yeah, my king is like a walking target. He's like a walking target. With a big red X on its forehead. He's gonna get me, man. Rook e7. To be honest, I haven't seen this move. To be absolutely honest, I did not see this move. But okay, I don't have a lot of choices, yeah? I have to play this. Yeah, it's kind of weird that one knight goes to c6, another goes to b8, but this is a better version of the knights than knight b8 and knight d7, okay? Knight on c6, he is a better protector of the king, that's for sure. Also, these 2 knights take away these critical squares from the rooks, so I don't get mated. So now I have high hopes that I'm not gonna lose this game. For the first time in this game, I feel like I might be able to salvage it. I can maybe make a draw. King should probably go here, just to be safe. Because if he goes here, there's some rook checks. So, better safe than sorry, yeah? Better safe than sorry. Yeah, okay, you play that, and okay, how do I play this position? Centralization is usually the key. Centralization is usually the key. Queen in the center is a thing of beauty. Or maybe not that thing. It's it. It. The itness. Okay. You're welcome. You are welcome. I think I can actually trade the queens because he's not gonna win my kingside pawns, yeah? If I can protect my knights, then I don't think white can get to those guys. So that means I can actually trade the queens sometime. That's actually good news. If I can trade the queens, then black should be okay completely. Completely. And finally, yeah, but he can try to get to my king. Go. All right, let's see it. You know what? Actually, I probably should keep the queens on board, but you know, okay, it's interesting. Yeah? So let's see it. Maybe I can also play 95, but then queen d4 was kind of annoying. But I think queen e2 is playable. I think queen e2 is perfectly playable. Yeah. So if I keep the queens on board, I think I have better chances of making a draw. But I wanted to test my theory if I can maybe even play this. And play this, yeah. Because this knight will be very strong. Yeah, this is a good move. Knight goes here, not here. Because I need to take the square under control. Gotta take some squares under control. And so it becomes a big question. Yeah, he plays this. But if he plays that, why cannot I attack? I mean, I can attack too, you know? You're not the only one. My pawns maybe not so great, but they're not so bad. They're not so bad. Also, if my knights together, they can take really a lot of squares from his king. Yeah, okay, this. Yeah, maybe knight d3 is still premature. I should have waited until king f2, then knight d3 check, yeah. Or not. b4 is very brave. Very brave move. And if I play this... Pavel is playing with fire now. Now this requires very good calculation actually. Maybe he is right. Maybe he is right. Check. Why would you need a check? Hmm. So you can take the pawn with the check down. I see. I see the logic. Hmm. Very interesting position, yeah. Here, check. Here, you go here. Or b2, here, h6, b1. Looks like a draw, yeah, but and if I play a5, probably it's immediate draw, yeah. Take, here b4, here b3, here b2. You go here, I go with the knight, and I stop this pawn, and then I take the rook, and it's dead draw, yeah. Take, knight takes, king f4, knight c3, king f5. Knight b5, king f6, knight d6. Yeah, I protect the knight. Okay, but the other move is I'm calculating is this one. Here, take. You play here, I give you a check, king here or here, yeah? Or maybe even here, the 95. Then you can play h6. By the way, what is this endgame with the two knights and two pawns versus queen? I've never seen anything like this. I suspect it's a draw, yeah? I suspect it's a draw. Especially if the pawns are like here and here, yeah? Yeah, I think that's actually a draw. That's actually very interesting to see. Right, let's see it for the sake of the theoretical knowledge advancement. Well, Mr. Karupardiak, if you can do better, then I suggest you do. Better. Check. Five. Why don't you sub? Take part in the simul tomorrow, and then we'll see how good you are. Then we can see how good you are. Show us the skills, man. So, here. Okay, so I have to play this move, yeah? My pawns are not far enough. Damn, I miscalculated this. Okay, so yeah, I thought that you're gonna get the queen, but your king just stops the pawns. Yeah, here, king d2, b2, king c2. Then you just. Alright, my bad, my mistake. My mistake. I thought that I make easy draw anyhow, but apparently not. My bad. Also, which knight, yeah? This knight or this knight? Both have advantages and disadvantages. I'm like, I have no idea which knight should go there. I think it's actually this knight. Yeah, chess is hard. Wow, you saw my comment as a threat and you reacted to it first. Yes. I only said that maybe you're not so good as to make a judgment call. So I think it should be this knight actually. I want to make it a draw. Or I can play this knight and then try to bring the king. Can do that, yeah. I think this knight is safer. Safer. Because I can protect this knight with the king. The only way he can win this, if he puts this pawn and he captures the second knight, okay? I don't think he can do that. Or he can push the pawn and my king is pinned. But I don't see how he can do that. So let's push the pawns. Alright, again, I may be mad, but rule number 1 in this channel. You can criticize my chess, but please don't criticize my traits, personal traits. Because I'm just a human being and I can get offense at that. And you think calling me an ego, the guy with the big ego, if you think that is a problem, then you shouldn't play chess, because all top elite chess players, they have a huge ego, okay? It's not a single player in the top chess who doesn't have an ego. I mean, it should be pretty obvious, no? All right. So, when you make a personal attack, then that's what you get timed out for, okay? That's when you get timed out. Oh, actually, Pavel offered me a draw, yeah? Why am I playing? Right, let's see if Pavel still wants to draw, because I think it's dead draw. Yeah, it is dead draw, yeah? It should be dead draw. It's 0-0, yeah, it is. All right, so the question is, yeah, here is still draw. The question here was this. See, I can, eventually it will have to be a coin trade, but black can do that with the more tempos. Here I did the queen trade when the knights are still in the back, and the engine suggests that I can trade the knights maybe when I have the knight here already, and then the rook doesn't even enter. Okay. Yes. Here you're winning. Yes, this is winning position. This is not winning. Yes, I saw the correct move, but I didn't know what this position was. I was kind of worried about this. Oh my god, rook d6. Holy mother. Oh my god, rook d6. Nice trap. This is a very nice trap. I didn't see this move. It's the only move, but I did not see this intermediate move. After this intermediate move, white loses the rook. You guys see it, yeah? Rook d6. Oh my god. Alright, let's go from the beginning. Okay, knight c3, d6, here, queen c7, f4, yeah, castles of course, so knight c6, b5 is a big problem, yeah. And you actually missed knight f5. Apparently this is even stronger. Okay, not miss, but didn't know, because you cannot miss something if you don't know. So queen d8, take, bishop f3, and I lose the whole rook, yes. You win a tempo. Yeah, that looks pretty bad. And if I castle, it's queen d4, pair of bishops, 3 versus 2 here, extra exchange, absolutely winning, sure. Alright, but okay, bishop f3, bishop b7, take, queen g. See, rook f7. Rook f7 is still playable, man. My god. And now queen g4. Interesting. Wow. It is still playable. Because queen b6 runs into check and queen a8. Huh. And I have to play knight c5 and knight here, yeah. So your position is so good here, you can win anything. You're winning anyhow. Rook f7 here also, of course. But 96 plus 3 is fine. 95 if I didn't want to lose immediately. Queen c6 is the only move. 95 is correct. This is correct. ED7 is winning also. Yeah, it's the same idea because you play rook d1, rook a7, queen f6, yeah? Check here. And yeah, this was, as I said, ed7, queen e7, take, d8, and rook e1 wins, but also apparently this is winning also. And take, and rook d8, and oh my god, of course. Excuse-moi, of course, rook f8. Jesus Christ. Dude, you were winning like so many ways, yeah? You're just completely winning here. Alright. I don't know. We got brain fried. Yeah, white is absolutely winning here. Okay, GG. Ugh. A case of mutual blindness. That's what it is. And this is still winning. And rook d7. But you need to see this move, which is not easy. Why is it winning? Because check and rook check and okay, queen b8, yeah. And if 97, rook d5 makes sense. Queen f6 still threats. I just pull my queen out, yeah. Just pull my queen out of queen b4. Queen f6, king here. Yeah, just even rook d1 wins probably. Yeah, okay. Anything wins. Yes, exactly. It's very easy to see in the analysis. I remember there was this game with Benjamin, the US Chess Championship. It was similar. My king was stuck in the center. He sacrificed a piece, attacking me, but I found some ingenious defense, and he couldn't find the win. It was not easy though. It was not as easy as here, but it was still there. But the grandmaster, strong grandmaster, couldn't find it. So yeah, it was kind of crazy game. All right, guys, it's 12. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm gonna repeat the simul, so we're gonna get new people to join it, and they will demonstrate their level of chess, hopefully, and we'll see how they do. All right, so same time, start around 9:30. I'll start around 9:15 to do the recap, and 9:30, 9:45 we'll start the simul. Okay. All right. See you guys tomorrow.